You see, people often confuse kindness with weakness. They think if they are always soft, always saying yes, always yielding, they are somehow becoming spiritual or virtuous. But this is the greatest misunderstanding of life. True compassion is not about being soft to everyone. True compassion is about doing what is right for that moment, whether it is received as softness or as firmness. If you do not understand this, your so-called kindness will only lead to suffering for yourself and for the people around you. If a child wants to eat sweets for breakfast, lunch and dinner, what will you do? Out of softness, you may say yes. The child will be happy in that moment. You will feel like a loving parent. But slowly, you are destroying that child's health. Your softness in that situation is not love, it is negligence. If you truly care, you will sometimes deny, sometimes scold, sometimes even cause discomfort in that moment. Because real compassion looks at what is beneficial in the long run, not what is pleasing right now. Life demands this clarity. If you are soft in every situation, you are not serving life, you are serving your own need to be liked, your own need to appear good in the eyes of others. That is not compassion. That is ego in disguise. Compassion is not about how you appear, it is about whether your actions uplift the situation or not. Sometimes upliftment comes with a gentle touch, and sometimes it comes with a hard push. Look at the world around you. Even in nature, compassion is not always soft. The mother bird will gently feed her chicks, but at the right time, she will push them out of the nest. Imagine if she kept being soft and allowed them to stay comfortable in the nest forever. They would never fly. Her push may look cruel, but it is the greatest compassion because it gives them wings. In the same way, if you are always soft with people, you keep them in their limitations. You never challenge them, never confront them, never allow them to face reality. Out of your softness, you trap them in their weakness. But if you are conscious, you will know when to be soft and when to be strong. That balance is true compassion. People come to me and say, I cannot say no, I feel guilty. I want to be a good person. Understand this. Being a good person is not about being agreeable to everything. A person who says yes to everything is not good, he is dangerous. Because his yes is not born from clarity, it is born from fear, from weakness. A yes that comes from weakness will harm both you and the other person. But a yes that comes from strength is a blessing. Think about it. When you say yes to someone because you fear hurting them, you are actually lying. You are giving them comfort in the moment, but robbing them of growth. If you are strong enough to say no when it is needed, your yes will carry weight. Your words will carry truth. Without the power of no, there is no value in yes. Compassion is not about pleasing people, it is about serving life as it is. Sometimes life demands a smile, sometimes it demands a firm hand. If you do not develop this discernment, you will be used and discarded by the world. Worse still, you will live in confusion, thinking you are a good person, while spreading weakness around you. This is not goodness, this is a disservice. When you are soft in the right way, it nourishes people. When you are soft in the wrong way, it destroys them. Imagine a doctor who is too soft to tell a patient that he has a disease. Out of kindness, he hides the truth. What will happen? The disease will grow, and the patient will suffer far more than if he had heard the truth earlier. This is how softness without clarity becomes cruelty in disguise. Real compassion is fierce. It does not bend to please, it bends only to serve truth. It is soft when softness is needed, and it is sharp when sharpness is needed. Only then does it become transformative. Otherwise, your softness will make you into a doormat, and others will wipe their feet on you without even respecting you for it. In your relationships, in your work, in your society, observe how often you are soft because you fear conflict, not because you care. This is where you must bring awareness. If you are yielding out of fear, it is weakness. If you are yielding out of strength, it is compassion. When you are strong, you do not lose anything by being soft, you only enrich the situation. But when you are weak, your softness becomes self-betrayal. Remember, compassion is not about making everything sweet. Life is not always sweet. Compassion is about being aligned with the truth of the moment. Sometimes truth is bitter, sometimes it is beautiful, but always it is liberating. If you truly wish to be compassionate, do not strive to be soft to everyone. Strive to be true to the moment. So stop confusing softness with compassion. Stop confusing agreeableness with love. Love is not weakness, it is the highest strength. A love that cannot say no is not love. It is fear wearing the mask of love. True compassion is not weak. True compassion is powerful. Only when you see this, only when you live this, will your kindness become real, your compassion become effective, and your presence become a gift to life. You see, one of the most misunderstood aspects of human relationships is this idea that if you are endlessly accommodating, endlessly available, endlessly yielding, somehow people will value you more. But the truth is, the opposite happens. When you have no boundaries, when you are soft with everyone in every situation, you do not earn respect, you lose it. People may smile at you, they may even say they like you, but deep inside, they know you can be bent at will. And when people know you can be bent at will, they do not value your presence, they exploit it. Respect is not built on how much you give in, it is built on the firmness of your spine. When you establish clear boundaries, people may resist at first, they may complain, they may even accuse you of being harsh. But with time, they will recognize that your strength is not against them, it is for the dignity of both. Without boundaries, there is no respect. Without respect, even love becomes meaningless. Think of the earth itself. If the earth had no boundary, if there was no line where land ended and ocean began, life could not exist in the way it does. The boundary between soil and water, between day and night, between inhale and exhale, this is what makes life possible. Boundaries are not walls of rejection, they are the lines that create order, balance, and harmony. In the same way, when you create boundaries in your life, you are not pushing people away. You are giving shape to your relationships. If you are endlessly soft, if you say yes to everything, you dissolve the shape of your own being. You become formless in the wrong way. Not like water that nourishes life, but like a puddle that everyone steps into without a second thought. Boundaries are what give you form. They are what allow others to meet you with respect, to know where you stand. Without that, you are just a vague presence, always available, but never valued. Many people are afraid of setting boundaries because they fear rejection. They think, if I say no, people will not like me. But you must see, people may like you for your softness, but they will not respect you. And without respect, their liking is hollow. Even in the closest bonds, in love, in friendship, in family, if there is no respect, the relationship will eventually collapse. Boundaries are not against love. They are the foundation of it. Only when there is respect can love blossom in a healthy way. When you are soft with everyone, people do not even trust your softness. They know you are saying yes not because you truly mean it, but because you cannot say no. And what value does such a yes carry? It is like counterfeit currency. It looks like money, but when the moment comes, it buys nothing. If you want your words, your yes, your presence to carry weight, then let it be backed by the firmness of boundaries. Only then will people listen. Only then will they trust what comes from you. Look at your own life and see, every time you have said yes when you wanted to say no, every time you gave in when your inner clarity told you otherwise. What was the result? Did people appreciate you more, or did they take you for granted? Did they respect your softness, or did they expect it again and again until you felt drained and resentful? This is the cost of being endlessly soft. You do not only lose respect from others, you also lose respect for yourself. Boundaries are not about pushing others away. They are about standing firmly in who you are. They are about saying, "This is where I end, and this is where you begin." Without that clarity, relationships turn into entanglements. You become tangled in others' expectations, others' demands, others' moods, until you forget your own essence. But when you establish boundaries, you remain rooted like a tree. You can still offer shade, you can still offer fruit, but your roots are not shaken by every passing wind. This is why being soft to everyone, without boundaries, is not a virtue, it is a danger. Because it not only makes you weak, it makes others careless. If you never demand respect, others never learn to give it. If you never draw a line, others never learn where to stop. By being endlessly soft, you do not just harm yourself, you also harm those around you because you enable their unconsciousness. True respect arises when you can be gentle but firm, open but rooted, compassionate but clear. Boundaries are not an act of selfishness, they are an act of responsibility. Responsibility to yourself and responsibility to the other. Because without boundaries, neither you nor the other will grow. It is in the space between two clear beings that true relationships can flourish. So do not think of boundaries as walls of separation. They are not rejection, they are recognition. Recognition of who you are and recognition of who the other is. When you are soft with everyone without boundaries, you erase this recognition. But when you stand firm, your softness becomes a conscious choice, not a default weakness. And that softness chosen from strength becomes powerful, beautiful, and deeply respected. Without boundaries, there is no respect. Without respect, even love, even kindness, even compassion lose their meaning. Life is balance. Everything that exists around you is held together because of balance. The sun and the moon, day and night, growth and decay. If any one force tried to dominate endlessly, existence would collapse. Softness alone cannot sustain life, nor can hardness alone. What makes life beautiful is the dance between the two. If you are always soft to everyone, you are going against the very fabric of existence. You are choosing one side of the dance and ignoring the other. And when you live like this, you are not living in truth, you are living in imbalance. Look at a tree. It bends in the wind, it sways gracefully. It allows the breeze to move through its branches. But it can do this only because its roots are firm in the soil. If the roots were not strong, the very softness of bending would uproot it. Its flexibility is not weakness. It is strength supported by stability. If you try to be soft with everyone, without that inner firmness, you are not like the tree, you are like a dry leaf blown away in every direction. People will toss you around, circumstances will dictate your path, and you will call this softness. But this is not softness, this is helplessness. Even water, the symbol of gentleness, has strength in it. It flows around rocks, it adjusts to every shape, but in that very flow, it wears down mountains. Over time, rivers carve valleys, and oceans shape continents. Its softness is backed by persistence and force. Without that strength, water would simply evaporate into nothing. This is the balance life teaches you: gentleness and power, adaptability and firmness, yielding and resisting. Without both, existence cannot thrive. If you are soft in every situation, you may think you are kind, but in truth you are unbalanced. Balance means knowing when to be soft and when to be firm, when to yield and when to stand unshaken. If you do not cultivate this balance, you will either break yourself or break others. Too much softness makes you spineless, too much hardness makes you rigid and cruel. But when you balance the two, you become graceful. Grace is not softness alone, grace is strength wrapped in gentleness. Look at your breath. You inhale, you exhale. If you try to only inhale, life will leave you. If you try to only exhale, life will leave you. The rhythm of life is created by this balance. In the same way, your interactions with people must have rhythm, a balance of softness and firmness. If you are only soft, people will choke on your presence. If you are only firm, they will run from you. But if you balance the two, your presence will nourish. People often think balance means 50-50, like two halves meeting in the middle. No, balance means being exactly what is needed in that moment. Sometimes life demands 80% softness, 20% firmness. Sometimes it demands the reverse. Balance is not a formula, it is awareness. It is the ability to sense the situation and respond with the right quality. If you lack this awareness, you will default to one extreme, usually softness, because it feels safer, more agreeable. But safety is not balance. Balance requires alertness, presence, and courage. When you see someone drowning, do you throw them a pillow because you want to be soft? No, you throw them a rope, and sometimes you even have to pull hard, even if it hurts them, because that is what the situation demands. If you are endlessly soft, you will watch them sink while smiling sweetly, thinking you are being kind. This is not balance, this is blindness. True balance comes from being deeply in tune with life, not with your own fear of displeasing others. In your own body, this balance is the source of health. Too much heat or too much cold, too much activity or too much rest, too much food or too little, all of these create imbalance, and imbalance creates disease. The same is true for your relationships. If you are endlessly soft, the relationship will rot. If you are endlessly hard, the relationship will shatter. But when there is balance, when there is firmness wrapped in gentleness, love can flow without breaking either you or the other. Balance is not easy because it requires you to be awake every moment. Softness is easy, hardness is easy. Both are mechanical. But balance is alive. It asks you to respond freshly to each moment, not with habits, not with fear, not with weakness, but with awareness. This is why balance has great power. When you are balanced, people may not always like you in the moment, but they will trust you. They will know you are not simply yielding to keep peace, nor are you dominating to assert power. They will know your actions come from clarity, not compulsion. So do not fall into the trap of thinking life is about being soft to everyone. Life is not one-sided. It is not about choosing comfort over truth, agreeableness over clarity. Life is about balance. Just as a bird cannot fly with one wing, you cannot live fully with only softness. Firmness is the other wing, and together they lift you. Without both, you will crawl through life, always tired, always resentful, never respected. If you can live with this balance, your presence itself will carry weight. People will not take you for granted, nor will they fear you. They will respect you because they know you are rooted like the tree, gentle like the breeze, strong like the river, balanced like the breath. If you look deeply, you will see that softness without strength is not kindness, it is self-betrayal. When you are endlessly soft to everyone, when you bend and yield without ever standing your ground, the first person you abandon is yourself. And once you abandon yourself, you cannot expect anyone else to value you. If you do not respect your own boundaries, if you do not honor your own clarity, why should anyone else? People think saying yes to everyone makes them good, makes them noble, makes them loved. But a yes that comes from fear or weakness is not noble, it is deception. It is a lie you tell yourself and a lie you offer to others. It may bring temporary peace, it may make others smile for a moment, but inside you will feel the weight of having betrayed your own truth. That weight will grow, and soon you will feel resentful towards the very people you were trying to please. Softness is beautiful only when it rests upon a strong spine. If there is no firmness within you, your softness becomes like a house with no foundation. The first storm of life will shake it to the ground. But if you have built the strength to stand, then your softness becomes valuable. People will feel it, they will respect it, because they know it is not weakness. It is a conscious offering. Imagine this: if you always give in to others, not because you want to, but because you cannot resist, what happens? People begin to expect it. They begin to take your softness for granted. They stop hearing your yes as a gift, they hear it as a habit. And when your yes becomes a habit, it loses all meaning. Sooner or later, they will push further, demand more, until you feel drained. In the end, no one benefits, you lose yourself, and they lose respect for you. If you cannot stand firm in life, people may still use you, but they will never revere you. They will never look at you with admiration. They will look at you as someone who bends easily, someone who can be molded for their convenience. And you will live with the silent bitterness of knowing you were not true to yourself. This is the danger of being soft without a spine. It erodes your dignity from within and your respect from without. In nature, every being carries both aspects, gentleness and strength. The deer may be graceful, but it has the alertness to run when danger comes. The lion may be fierce, but it also knows when to rest in quietness. Even the smallest flower blooms in softness, but it is rooted in the earth with firmness. If the roots are weak, the flower will never blossom. In the same way, your softness can only blossom if it is rooted in strength. Without that, you will be plucked by every passing hand, without ever fulfilling your purpose. Do not mistake weakness for compassion. Compassion means you see clearly and you act in a way that serves life. Sometimes that may be gentle, sometimes that may be firm. Weakness, on the other hand, is when you yield not because it serves life, but because you are afraid of conflict, afraid of displeasing someone, afraid of standing alone. That is not compassion, it is self-betrayal. When you betray yourself like this, something inside begins to wither. You may smile outwardly, you may appear agreeable, but inwardly your spirit shrinks. You know you are not living truthfully. And the more you betray yourself, the harder it becomes to trust yourself. Soon, you will not even believe in your own words, because you know they come not from clarity, but from fear. Strength does not mean aggression, it does not mean hardness. Strength simply means you are rooted in your truth. You can say yes with full heart, and you can say no with equal clarity. When you live like this, your words carry power. People may not always like what you say, but they will respect it. They will know that when you say yes, it is genuine, and when you say no, it is necessary. If you are soft without this strength, you are like a candle in the wind. You may give light for a moment, but the slightest breeze will put you out. But if you have the spine of clarity, your softness becomes like the light of the sun, gentle in its warmth, yet impossible to extinguish. Softness without a spine will always lead to exploitation. People will not even consciously intend to misuse you, but they will, because human beings naturally lean where there is no resistance. If you are always soft, you invite misuse. If you have firmness within, your softness becomes sacred, because it is rare, because it is real. So look within yourself and ask, are you being soft because it is your conscious choice, or because you are afraid to be firm? If it is fear, then you are betraying yourself, and every act of self-betrayal chips away at your dignity until nothing remains. But if your softness flows from strength, then it becomes a gift. It elevates you and it elevates others. Softness is not meant to be your default state, it is meant to be your conscious expression. Without the spine of strength, your softness is hollow. With the spine of strength, your softness is divine.